innovative talks. And I must say, who is doing over here the video? I'm going to actually recognize the founders of the Miami AI Club. Nima and Sarah, if you could be, because you made this happen. We are here, incredible community, really sharing the knowledge of the AI. And before we get started, I would like to all of you to go introduction and a little bit of your background and your work. So, Mandeep, why don't you start?
Okay. Hello, everyone. Nice to be here. My name is Mandeep Maini. I'm a management consultant. I help organizations with healthcare technology and AI adoption. That includes education, implementation, integration, and in the near future with AI orchestration with virtual workforce. I mentor startups to find the right market fit and to get commercialized, enter the market space and so forth. And finally, I work with professional organizations like the Miami AI Club and the Coalition for Health AI to create standards and frameworks for the responsible use of AI in healthcare.
Thank you. That's great. That's hard to follow. My name is Felicita, but you can all call me Fifi now that we have met. I am the CEO and founder of Senpex. It's a sentient perspectives, and it's about being aware as a human and also about having a perspective, having independent thinking, because we cannot let these machines do it all for ourselves, and I don't think they can right now. They may one day, but the whole purpose is to actually walk alongside technology. My company, we bring the workforce training in artificial intelligence, in cybersecurity, and emerging technologies like quantum, robotics, etc. So I usually train either C-suite executive level all the way into non-management. So it's pretty fun to do, and I'm also part of the Miami AI Club, as we all, we are here in the panel, and it's actually fun to go into a room like in the Miami AI Club where you are part of collaborators that are professionals in different industries, just not technology. You have lawyers, you have financial professionals, you have educators and healthcare as well. And all of us, nobody's there to sell you something. We're all there to collaborate and actually see how can we bring technology to our community? How can we bring technology to organizations? And that's super fun. And then I'm also part of the Women's Vision, part of the Levant Center in Broward. And that's another initiative that I love because it's about bringing women, professional women together to collaborate as well. And what can we do for our community? So it's great. I'm pretty excited to be here. Oh.
You are. We all are very excited. My name is Afzal Tarar. I go by Al. I'm a little different from the group. I am an investor. So I actually invest in technology, AI and technology ventures. So mid-stage ventures. So not too early, not too late. Again, we're not trying to sell you anything, just defining what I do. So a little thing about me, I studied the earlier forms of AI in mid-80s and early 90s. So you can do a little arithmetic how old I am, right? So that is why I'm here. So I studied AI when it used to be called rule-based expert systems, pattern recognition, neural networks. And some of those same technologies are behind the current form of AI. So one big thing I will leave you with in my introduction, so the AI that we are hearing about every day, AGI, artificial general intelligence, is at the very, very beginning stage. Many of us think it's very advanced, but it's at actually very, very beginning stage. So a lot of good can come out of this, and a lot of bad could come out of this. The difference between good and bad will be the ethics, the governance, the controls, many of us really believe in and we want to implement in our work and in our communities.
Thank you. Thank you for the introductions. And what an incredible wealth of knowledge which we see from healthcare to security to investing. So I think we have a wonderful conversation. And first I would like to start really that the AI is changing the game for founders. So focusing on the startup ecosystem. And Al, I would like to ask you first, really, there is a lot of opportunities right now for how we are building companies. And also, there's challenges. So my first question to you is that how do you see really the startups are facing when they're integrating new technologies like AI? What is the challenge you see and how they can really change that to competitive advantage?
It's actually a double-edged sword today. There are so many AI-based development tools available for startups. So it feels like everybody can put AI label on their startup, right? But the hard part is very hard to distinguish what is unique or differentiated about your solution. So the real hard job of startup have not gone away, even if you have put an AI label on it. So that's the very elementary stuff. Then the cybersecurity, which Fifi will talk about, cybersecurity has emerged into a larger issue of digital security. Do you have the content from another party with their permission? Are you using AI appropriately or not? Are you sharing people's private or public information together or not? All those issues are the challenges for the new startups. So some ease in developing new startups, but a lot of new difficulties, in my view.
That's a great insights. And Mandeep, I would like to kind of follow-up question with you, because you work with the healthcare sector and startups and advising them. How do you see kind of when balancing the innovation, but also the need of clinical validation and especially patient safety? So how do you advise startups and founders with that?
Sure, and I'll take up from where Al left off. The tendency right now is to create all kinds of tools labeled as AI. And when I mentor startups, is to say you have to have a credible use case. It has to be something that clients actually want to use, can implement, will be able to integrate with the rest of their tech environment and so forth. So it's not merely about having or creating an AI startup. It has to be one that is a valid use case. Al also mentioned that there is at the moment not a clear-cut method of validating that the tool works or is correct. We've all heard that AI tools hallucinate, large language models hallucinate, and particularly in the healthcare environment, we cannot have that. We cannot have misdiagnoses or wrong prior authorizations and so forth. So it's very important to have, and like I said, I work with a few standards organizations that are creating these frameworks that will be able to put a label, much like a nutrition label, on an AI application to say, this is the data it was tested against, this is the kind of demographics the data was tested against or taken for, and so forth. I think that is the biggest impediment at the moment for startups. There's lots of very nice startups out there, but healthcare organizations have been reluctant to implement them because there's no good way of evaluating and saying, this is good, this is complete, this is comprehensive. So I think when we get there, we're at that next stage.
That's great. What a great knowledge. And now kind of this is a follow-up of Fifi, because you work with the security, and it's kind of now bringing all of this together when startups are innovating and really eager to use these new technologies like AI. What is your view, and really kind of saying how security, how the AI can driven with, they're not going to be vulnerable. So what is your advice for founders with the security aspect of building a company?
The first thing that I will say is, when we talk about cybersecurity, and when I have actually approached startups or they have approached me, they tell me, do I need to learn how to hack? In order for me to understand security in my business, especially because it's a startup, it's one person working in the company, or they have 3, 4, but they don't really have a whole staff. And what I always say, it has to start from the beginning. You need to have a vendor management process in place. Because if you're going to start using ChatGPT, for example, I'm going to use ChatGPT to help me do my marketing because I'm just starting this company. What's going to happen that then you're going to use another tool. You're going to start using, maybe hiring people to help you with the technology, and you're not going to have a proper list of the tools or the third parties that you're bringing into your company. Therefore, you're bringing risk that you haven't even measured. You need to measure your risk. So I know the first thing you think as a startup is, oh my gosh, my budget, I don't have money for this. I don't have money to hire a security person. You have to start small. The first thing you do is, let me start the program small. If I'm gonna use ChatGPT, the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to maybe go ahead and look at their terms and condition. Is my data being used to train their models? Can I turn this off, right? So you can actually decrease the liability. You can also think of, you know what, let me see if they have documentation like policies in place. Let me see if they have a SOC 2 that I can read and see if there are controls in place for their design. You can start small, and then once you have that, your budget is increasing, your company is doing well, then now you have a list that you can actually give to your security team that you're building now and say, hey, you don't have to start from scratch. These are the tools, this is the risk that we have measured more or less. Now can you actually build a program? That's what you should do. And when it comes to cybersecurity per se, you just need to make sure that from the beginning, even if it's only you, the CEO, you're starting the company, have a security awareness training for yourself. Have a security awareness training for your co-founder, for your COO, for whoever starts with you. Even either you go to a workshop or you actually go into online resources that have security awareness training that you can take for yourself. So then you understand the importance of it. And once you have employees or consultants, you can tell them, hey, you know what, let's actually take a security awareness training so you understand phishing and you understand malware, you understand privacy. That's what's important for the startups in AI and cybersecurity at the beginning.
So that's a great insights, and I think it comes to the foundational knowledge, really understanding what AI can do and what not can do, and that's a great starting point. So that's a great conversation. And now I would like to we talked about the technology. Let's talk about people. So this is a big aspect I think all of us are talking about as AI is changing how we work, what kind of a talent, what are the skills, how do we lead the teams. So Mandeep, I would like to get the people conversation going, and with the healthcare companies, what is the biggest gaps with AI-related skills right now with the professionals and even executives, founders, that they need to be looking, and how startups should be addressing these kind of a skills gap and the talent?
Wow, so there are two fundamental things that I advise companies as they're wanting to adopt healthcare is, first, strengthen your cybersecurity. Don't go anywhere till you know what the privacy and security framework is in your company. And the second and very important aspect is take care of your people. Help them understand what bringing in AI into the company will mean for them. Bring them along. So they need to be party to this implementation, or they will resist it, or not allow the project to go forward and so forth. This is something that we're all facing in all companies. People are at different levels of education. I think employees are probably more well versed in the AI technology sometimes than the executives are. And maybe doing things, that's why security is more important, maybe sharing data that you really don't want them to share data and so forth. But I think it's a process, and companies have to make a deliberate attempt to educate their employee workforce and to teach them about the privacy and security of the data, or to make them more productive, or to help them understand the benefit of the technology that will be coming in, how their particular role will change, potentially get eliminated, but how they can reskill, help them to reskill and so forth. This is a major transformation change that is going on. So we cannot pretend that it's not happening. We have to recognize that we need to train the people, we need to get them alongside us, and if they're not going to be party to what we are going to be implementing, help them get reskilled in other technologies so they can still have a career.
That's a great point, and I think it's absolutely what you said. There is no guidebook right now. This is such an unknown for everyone, so the communication and bringing everyone along couldn't be more important. So yeah,
I want to say something, because you just mentioned something very important, and it's reskilling the employees.
Mm-hmm.
I always say that AI is not the one that's going to be taking our jobs, right? It's going to be the people who learn how to use it that is going to take the jobs. I'm just going to tell you right now, just think about that and marinate on that. Very important.
That's a great insight. And Al, I'm going to actually jump on now, asking as a startups who are now ready to really scale and ready to take off. What is the retaining the talent? What do you look as an investor and seeing and advising how the talent is going to be evolved with the startups?
Yeah, I think as part of that answer, I will also add a little bit of perhaps color to this discussion. So AI is not a one size fits all. So AI comes from very, very deep AI only startup to AI based startup, then AI enabled, and then sprinkling with AI name. So there's a very broad variety. So this is where tremendous depth of AI is required, needed. So this is where all the brain trust of the world is focused on right now. Then there are others. But when we are developing, regardless of the types of ventures that we are working on, the old proven methods of development, validation, security, control are still valid. They're actually more valid now than they have been in the past. They are more needed, I should say. So in healthcare, people are doing the same thing. They're testing with 10,000 patients, right, in order to demonstrate that this works. And then they have to prove to the medical doctors and regulators that this works. So none of that has gone away just because of ChatGPT. So ChatGPT is what I call where you're sprinkling with AI, right? So that's not actually where the true AI innovation and development is happening. So the people are learning the skills and knowledge, and because of the availability of a lot of tools on the market, it's actually very easy now. When I was learning AI, it was very, very hard. Now people are learning from the fire hose, so to speak. You know, there's so much out there. But when they learn, this may be superficial knowledge. So in order to gain the depth and experience, you still need to spend time. As a lot of famous people have said, you have to spend 10,000 hours on something in order for you to be good at it. Same applies to AI models. AI models have to spend hours and hours and hours and millions and billions of gigabytes of data in order for them to smart. So smartness and knowledge happens over time. They just have to learn different things.
I like that. Fifi, you have been doing so many trainings on cybersecurity and really the skills training, and I want to join and sign up on your courses. So any insights that you would like to share with the upskilling and the skills gap right now?
So since like the theme is startups, I would just say that the first thing you need to know if you want to use AI to scale or to help your company, the first thing you need to ask yourself is, why do I need this tool, right? Why do I need AI? You know that answer now. What does it do for me? And then that's when you actually go ahead and actually look for tools that can help you do that and test them. So for example, you're a CEO of a startup company, you're probably getting funding from investors, right? You're getting funds from grants. And now you're like, oh, I have to be super careful with this money. I want to see if there's an AI tool that can help me be more efficient with this. Now you know the purpose, you know the reason, because remember that it's different for every single issue that you have or concern, that there are different tools that are going to help you do that. So for the budgeting part, once you have a tool that is going to help you, then actually now you are being more efficient. It's going to help you to budget. And remember, it's not the same budgeting that a CFO is going to look in a company. It's not the same budgeting that employees are looking. It's what you are looking as a CEO, or you're looking at if you are CFO. If you are an employee, you have to know what is it that it does. And then when you do the training, you need to understand the security part of it. So if you're using a tool, then that's when you ask yourself, okay, now how can I use this in a way that is not going to bring risk to my company, that is not going to bite me later on. That's how I approach it, and that's how I approach the trainings that I give. And it's not only about AI. We're talking about AI today, and I'm sure that actually the same people, we're going to be sitting here tomorrow talking about quantum, or the next day talking about robotics, because everything is just coming. It's not only AI, and Al, you said it perfectly. It's like this is just in the beginning stages. So yeah.
That's it.
And if I could just add to that, training doesn't have to be formal. I think we all have access to our mobile telephones. We can all put ChatGPT and Anthropic and Gemini and so forth, and just experiment with it. There's a lot of fear of AI and what it might do to careers and jobs and so forth, but I think once you approach it as, let me see what it can do, and you will find use cases that you didn't even know you had, you know. and be able to use it to make it more productive. That just adds to your skills and will continue to help flourish your career.
There is a new set of tools that are coming to the market now called Orchestrator.
Mhm.
Yes.
So Orchestrator, IBM just launched a tool also called Orchestrator. It's a generic word, but that basically helps the non-AI people to use AI effectively in developing technology-based solutions. So if you're a startup, you can use this orchestrator. It basically limits the boundaries of different aspects of your application, and it helps you figure out what type of AI to use in different parts of your application. It's not gonna fix the whole thing, but it's gonna accelerate the development of the application and also using AI effectively. But at the end of the day, there's a disclosure at the end saying this AI may not be perfect. I just used Google email this morning to summarize. It says on the bottom, please double check, because this summary may not be correct and our AI sometimes confuses names.
That's
This morning.
Let me say something quickly, real quick. Just because I know some people may feel intimidated. I am a cybersecurity professional. What my skills, the ones that I have to conduct that job, is not the same that you have to have in order to conduct yours. So you don't have to go to school to become a cybersecurity professional. You don't have to go to school to become a machine learning
You have to
engineer.
hire Fifi.
You have to hire me. No. You have to. You don't have
Or
to
work
go.
with somebody like Fifi.
Or for us, or like. Yes, no, but you don't have to do that. You just have to think of the user level experience. How can this help me, or what should I be aware of before I use the technology?
Such a great insight. I know we are running out of time. We have a couple more minutes, and I want to bring the conversation actually now home here in Miami. So this question is for everyone. As we mentioned, we are part of Miami AI Club. What an incredible community here, driving impact, responsible AI, ethical innovation, locally here, but also globally. So let's talk about collaboration, startups, corporations, government. How really can we drive this kind of a collaboration to positive impact, and what are your insights? So this question is kind of final thoughts for everyone. Mandeep, if you would like to kind of share your insights and thoughts on that.
Sure. I just attended a previous session here, which was on the role of ecosystem builders. And I attended it because I'm part of Miami AI Club, which I consider an ecosystem builder. So the way we see it is it's an ecosystem, a convener of bringing investors, startup companies, visionaries, and most important, end users or organizations who are going to use that technology, not to sell them anything, but really to create a community of people who can think and like I said, it's about creating positive impact, responsible use, ethical use, and so forth. So the collaboration there is very important. It's not just a sales pitch from a startup to a company, but really a collaboration of the whole community to raise the level of AI implementation in a responsible way.
In the panel before this one with Sylvia and Maria, and someone mentioned, I think it was Sylvia, mentioned about networking. It's very, very important for startups to understand how to network in order to make those genuine relationships that are gonna not only get you clients, that's not the whole purpose, it's also get you to collaborate with other communities. And that's what happened to me with the Miami AI Club. It was amazing that Dr. Nima and Sarah gave me an opportunity to speak at one of the first events. And after that, I was able to actually see like, oh, you know what, this actually works, collaboration works, networking works. And I will actually say that just make sure that when you have your company mission, right, to live by it with intention. So whatever you say in the panel, and I know you have mentioned, whatever you say in a panel or in a keynote, there's value that you have to bring, because you will never know that someone 3 years later will come to you and say, oh my God, what you said in that panel as the CEO of this company, like resonated with me, and then I became this person because of you. And you're just gonna be shocked, like, oh wow, me? So just think about everything that you do from now on after you start your company, it has to be with intention.
Great.
We are a small firm based in New York, but we are spread out. We have people here in Miami, which is me, just by myself. We have people on the West Coast in California, and we have people in Asia for a small firm. But talking about power of networking, I came here a couple of years ago and attended a Florida Venture Forum, right? And I then introduced a couple of my portfolio companies to that. The portfolio company came there and they did a presentation to investors just a couple of weeks ago. I was in Scottsdale, Arizona this last week, and I met a venture debt firm. They provide venture debt to startups. So we started talking, and I walked into the 9 portfolio companies that we have. I said, you should give money to this. And he said, I'm already talking to them. I said, how are you talking to them? I just met them in Miami. So Miami, Scottsdale, New York, all that. Network is a powerful thing, right? So don't give up. Start your networking as early as you can.
What an incredible final words, Al. Thank you so much for the panel. Thank you for your insight and experiences. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Over here. Oh, Sarah, come over here. Can I have somebody take a picture?
We need tall cameras.
Oh,
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.